Hey guys, hi everybody, happy new year. This is the Bloom Platinum TV. I had to change the name because on this channel, starting this year, the direction of our content is going to be very different from what it has been in previous times. I want to do more pranks this year, and I also want to serve artists wholesome content whilst also sticking to my reaction and review kind of content. In this video, I am going to be reacting to the minister Dunsin Oyekan's video that has been making rounds on social media. He was talking to the people that he ministers to, the upper room ministry. He was essentially saying to them that you cannot be listening to both secular and Christian music. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Annie and I am the founder of the Bloom Platinum company. We're a company who helps artists and creatives to essentially navigate the entertainment industry. So I have been an A&R over the last 8 years. I am also a graduate of business entrepreneurship, so yes, I have both book knowledge and industry knowledge. So I am reacting to this video as a Christian. That is important because I don't want people to start coming to my comment section and saying I'm one-sided. Please, there's nothing to talk about Christianity. Thanks and God bless. But in any case, let's move forward. So he was essentially talking to his community, his people in the upper room, and he was basically telling them that as a Christian, you need to pick a side. You cannot be listening to both secular music and all these other kinds of music and be expecting to grow in your Christian journey, because you're not going to grow. The only thing you're going to achieve is that you're going to be confused because you will not be able to hear God clearly, and you can't be in the middle. You have to pick a side. That was the essential. That was what he was saying essentially, that you have to pick a side. As a Christian, you cannot be listening to both secular, and you have to be confident to be bringing it online so that people can see and hail you that you're listening to gospel music. Since that video made it to the World Wide Web, there have been different opinions. People are saying different things. People are picking different sides. Even Christians who are A&Rs and Christians who are just Christians, they are picking different sides. Honestly, I feel like if you're a Christian, there's only one side you should belong to. But anyways, I understand the politics of the music industry, so let's move on. First things first, who was he talking to and what is the context? He was talking to believers, because I have seen a lot of people are confused. A lot of people saying that people don't really know that he was referring to the people that he was in the room with. A lot of people are saying, but you know, unbelievers don't believe in God. So let's get that straight, right? He was talking to believers. He was referring to believers. He was telling believers what he was telling them. He was telling believers that for them to grow and hear God clearly, text being made and being laid down. Let us proceed, shall we? Secular music cannot coexist right next to gospel music. That it's only going to dent the ability to hear God clearly. This I understand perfectly and I agree with, because I've said it several times on my other Instagram page that is for Christians, for believers, that if you're going to grow exponentially in your Christian journey, you have to quit listening to secular songs. I want to start from people who think that he shouldn't have said it, because I feel like there's a whole lot of over-tolerance happening right now in the world, and I feel like over-tolerance in the Christian faith, yes, we are called to love everybody, yes, we are called to coexist in peace with everybody, but we are not called to tolerate what is wrong. We are not called to tolerate every behavior because Jesus said we should love our neighbors. That's not what we are called to do. We are called to love everybody and we are called to coexist in peace, but we are not called to tolerate bad behavior and wrong principles and wrong practices. We are not called to tolerate things that will not help us in our growth journey. We are not called to tolerate things that essentially are hindrances to our lives and our faith. That's what we are not called to, and we are not expected to do in the Christian faith. I believe strongly and firmly that he did not stutter, he did not mince words, and everything that he said was at a point where someone had to say it, and for lack of mentioning names, I feel like the best person that should have said it was the end, but we all know he's not going to say it. So I appreciate the fact that somebody stood up to say it, because as an A&R music Christian, the balance to this is listening to secular songs that are clean, secular songs that are not promoting initiations, secular songs that are not telling you how people are getting initiated, secular songs that are not telling you that love doesn't exist, secular songs that are not telling you that you have to monetize love and sex for money, or you have to be drinking alcohol 5 days a week, otherwise you are not fine in your head. That is really the balance. And for you to get to that place as an individual, let's not lie, you have to be an individual who listens to music and is careful about what you are taking in. And let's just be real, a lot of us these days are not conscious listeners. We are not conscious watchers. We are not conscious anything. We just listen for listening's sake. We just listen because we are sad, we need things to make us happy. Essentially, we listen for entertainment purposes, right? When you're listening for entertainment, it's not the same thing as when you're listening for dear Christian A&R. The balance to not listening to secular songs or being able to merge secular songs with your job is your ability to listen to these songs in the hour when you are working and make these songs only a work thing. That is your balance. It had to be said, and as I mentioned earlier, he was not name-shaming Ashake. He was only referring to the people that he saw his name with. He was not placing himself above any other person. And at the end of the day, right, let me tell you something. If you're an A&R and you still believe that music is hustle, there's an issue. We have an issue right there. Because I saw a lot of people saying that at the end of the day, now hustle, everybody hustle. See, music is not a hustle. And as somebody who has managed a gospel artist or who has A&R a gospel artist over the last almost 10 years, I can assure you that music, especially gospel music, is not a hustle. Because about, let me say, 85% of gospel artists, they have church backing them. They have churches that scrutinize these songs to ensure that they are not putting out things that are against the word of my dear. It's not a hustle. If you are a gospel artist, a gospel minister, you are not hustling with your music. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's just put that in one corner first so that we can understand where we are going in life. Gospel artist is not the same as, we are not doing the same thing, right? And this is why I have a problem every time things like this come up and people classify gospel artists, gospel ministers, and say that we are all hustling. We are not hustling. No. You don't hustle with the word of God. Gospel ministers and gospel artists don't do the same thing that pastors. I know that most pastors hustle with ministry, but let me tell you, a lot of gospel artists have 9-to-5s that fund, if you don't have a church funding their careers, they have 9-to-5, or they have a handwork essentially sponsoring them. For you to say that they are hustling, my dear, you have it wrong. There is something that somebody said to you at some point that has messed you up, has rewired you differently, because I know how much we do on the team with the artists that I've and I would over the year. I know how much we go through every year that we want to pull up events, that he has released an EP. I know how much we go through to put that together for the listening pleasure to the standard of the industry. Yes, we all function in one music industry, but it is not, we don't go by the same principle. Now, I'll just give you a basic example. Female gospel artists to female secular artists, right? In the gospel industry, they are not after looks. That's why most people who do gospel, they have voice. Please, I wanted to mention one person now off the top of your head that is using auto-tune. Mercy Chinwo has voice. Shema Jesus, she has voice. And Revelation, they have voice. Martin Basti, he has a single voice and he has a talent. And yes, they are making money from it, but that doesn't mean that they're hustling with, because hustling connotes that they are doing something positive possibly sinister to make money. So yes, they are monetizing their talent, which is nothing bad, but they are not hustling. It's not a hustle. It's honestly not a hustle. Nyabasi can survive without giving us song, but he does it because it's his talent. And because the thing with being a Christian how many times is that we know on the last day that Jesus is not going to allow us to rest. He's going to ask us, what did you do with what I gave you? And you have to be accountable for that. So it's not a hustle. Please let's just understand that the gospel industry does not function like the rest of the music it functions essentially in the same way. It's not, we don't go by the same moral ethics, right? In the gospel industry, you have to have voice, you have to be properly talented and understand what you are doing. You honestly really do have to. This is why the problem with the people who castigated Dunsin. He did not say anything wrong, because of the truth, you really cannot grow if you are coexisting putting gospel music side by side with secular music. Your growth is not going to be exponential. It's not going to be transformational. You're going to be growing bit by bit, small, year by year as the year goes on. One of your goals this year is to grow spiritually. Help yourself, my dear, because everything that if you have things like to hear God better, to have a better relationship, or to listen to the voice of God on your list, quit alcohol, to stop having random flings on your list this year, music could be a very good place to start from. Yes, I am saying what you think I am saying. Replace all those your Cardi B's, replace all those your Beyonce's, replace all those your Lil Nas X's, replace them, I beg you, with people like Waje, people like Timi Dakolo, people like Chidinma. Replace them, please, just replace them, I beg of you. Replace them with people like Favor. Please just replace them, I beg of you. It will do you massive good. It will do you a good that you never imagined that it will do you. Because music is spiritual. Music is sensitive. Music plays in your soul. This is why 5 years later, 6 years later, you can still remember all these songs that you listened to when you were a teenager, all these songs that reigned then. Randomly, like you can just be doing something so random that does not even concern the song, and you just remember it. Because music never really leaves the subconscious of the human mind. That's how powerful music is. So if you feel like you want to grow exponentially, I beg you, consider the option of limiting how much you take in secular songs that are big on content that are not promoting love or peace or kindness or all those sort of things. And by secular content, I'm also talking about movies, because movies these days, they are wilding. Let's just say it as it is. Movie content creators these days, we are also wilding in our own ways. There are crazy things that I see in movie content these days, and I'm just like, wow, I did not know that we have gotten here as a people. I'm just asking us to not be over tolerant as a church, as a Christian people, sense from us, because at the end of the day, right, we are here as a people because we have tolerated and over tolerated certain things too much. We want to love certain things too much. And whilst Jesus loved everybody in his ministry, he called out wrong for wrong on countless occasions, stated things that were wrong, and he called wrong. And in your journey as a Christian, you have to be bold enough to say that wrong is wrong. And people were saying that Ashake does not sing bad songs. Pico, please, excuse me, can we just settle in our hearts of hearts that he's not singing morally upright songs? Ashake is not telling you to go to church and serve God, is he? He's not. He's honestly not. Same thing with Beyonce. Beyonce is not telling you to go to church and serve God. She's telling you to go and worship her. So, see, there are very basic things that we should not say because we're trying to defend artists, because probably we work for them or it is the industry that we work in and we need to survive. Let's just be able to call black and call white. I saw this and I was very confused because Ashake is not telling you to serve God in spirit and in truth. He's not, and when somebody is not doing that, it simply means one thing. It simply means that the quality of their music may not be bad, but they are not Christians. I mean, they are not singing Christian songs. He's not singing a morally upright song. So if you want, I understand your defense. It's the wrong way. I mean, say something else. Don't say that he's not singing bad songs. Something is either good or bad, right? And we all know by the standards of the Bible what is good or bad. And as strong as by the standards of the Bible, Ashake is not singing good song. He is singing bad songs. So let us understand context. By the context of what Dunsin was saying, good or bad is measured by the standards of the Bible, right? And by the standards of the Bible, as I've said, my dear, he's singing bad songs. So let's just understand that certain things are just what they are and be able to live with that. I have said what I have said. To be very honest, I do not expect this video to go down well with a lot of people, but it had to be said. I believe that God wants to do something this year for his people. He wants to do something this year in his church, and as his church, you cannot be over tolerant. You cannot, I mean, we got here as a people by being over tolerant of particular things, e.g. homosexuality. I mean, the whole transgender thing started by homosexuality, right? That's how we got here. We got here by over pampering them and saying that God said we should love everybody. God said we should love everybody, but he also created balance and said that love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor is the person who believes in God and holds the things the Bible says dearly. In this year 2023, as believers and people of God in the industry and in any other industry you find yourself, please have the audacity and boldness, as long as you are not participating in those things, to call right and wrong. I say God beg you. It will cost you a few things, but on the long run, you'll be satisfied that you did what you did. On that note, I rest my case. Please do feel free to follow, like, and share. Subscribe, I beg of you. Please subscribe. I know that this was deeply spiritual, but it was spiritual because, as I mentioned in the video, music is a spiritual thing. Like, okay, so let me provide a summary to this whole thing that I've said, right? Balance does not afford you the luxury of not picking and choosing a stance. Balance does not provide you the luxury of dilly-dallying between secular and non-secular. It doesn't. Balance affords you the luxury of being able to understand that there is clean secular and there is secular that is too deep and that you can't handle if you want to be a good Christian or Christian A&R. And please, dear Christian A&R, you can actually do this business without having to feel like you are dilly-dallying. You can. I am doing it, so you can do it too. And finally, as one last thing, right? Please and please and please, in this year of 2023, let us be able to read and listen without doing so because we want to provide feedback or because we want to provide how we feel. That being said, please do like, share, and subscribe. I've had fun filming this video, but thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. As we always do it here, remain in God, and God bless you.